With Tyson in prison, Lewis won a vacated title, abandoned by Riddick Bowe, who had no interest after the Olympics in fighting Lewis again.
Lennox wants this belt. He must get it out of the garbage, and then we'll be calling him the garbage picker.
That was a coward's way out. Why don't you just say you don't want to fight me? Why do you have to go through all that?
In his fourth title defense, Lewis would lose the championship to an unremarkable opponent, Oliver McCall. He won it back in a bizarre rematch, but would spend years trying to overcome the stigma of that first loss.
That's going to be it.
In 1999, Lewis became the undisputed heavyweight champion after defeating Evander Holyfield. And the prospect of a clash with Tyson loomed.
Talk to us about your future.
You know, I want Tyson. Definitely want Tyson, you know.
But in 2001, another unexpected loss to Hasim Rahman would stall his ongoing quest for respect. Between his wavering focus and foreign passport, Lewis was a hard pill to swallow for American fans.
The enigma of Lennox is nobody knows really who Lennox is. He's the man with many passports. I was born here, I grew up there, I fought for the Olympic team over here. If you're a citizen of everywhere, you're a citizen of nowhere.
The promotion that used him with his pinky sticking up in the air.
Tea time, Mr. Lewis.
Lovely idea.
Accented the negative.
Will your mum be at the fight?
She never misses a bout.
Another thing about Lennox Lewis was he played chess. For goodness sakes, a heavyweight champion playing chess.
Because Lennox has a British accent. The notion persisted throughout his career that he was somehow more civilized than Mike, and therefore he wouldn't be the same kind of destructive force.
He's a nice guy, and he's a great guy, and that's why I like him. Well, yeah, that might be why you'd like to have him over for tea. But, you know, being a great guy and $1.50 will get you a ride on the subway as far as being heavyweight champion goes.
By late 2001, Lewis had regained the title from Rahman, and Lewis and Tyson were the only star heavyweights still standing. By finally meeting, Lewis would get a chance to cement his legacy, and Tyson an opportunity to get out of debt and justify his rage.
I was going to rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
There was a tremendous talk about this fight happening, Lewis versus Tyson, and so many doubters, because Lennox Lewis is tied to HBO. Mike Tyson is tied to Showtime. How on earth are these two networks who are rivals going to join forces to enable this fight to happen?
The fighters wanted it, the public wanted it, and seeing the great potential profit to be made, the two networks, after extensive negotiations, finally agreed to come together for an unprecedented joint pay-per-view broadcast. The fight was set for April 6, 2002 in Las Vegas, and in January, a press conference was convened in New York City to announce the plans.
I said to a guy in our entourage, he looks pretty mean there. I mean, he just looks mad. And then as soon as Lennox came out, Mike just came across the stage.
He took off his hat, threw it on the ground and started marching over to me. So I'm saying, I don't know what he's doing. My security came out, stopped him.
Mike commenced the punching, Lennox commenced the punching.
It was like all free-for-all. Somebody was biting my leg. I'm like pushing the head, realizing, you know, Tyson's biting my leg. He's biting my leg. I hate getting bit. So
Part of him was like, I'm gonna hype this fight, but part of him was trying to encourage himself. I am in my 30s. I am 4 or 5 years away from a competitive fight. This man is up to the mark. Let me look into the eye of the tiger and see if I see any wavering. And I don't think he saw any. And so it degenerated from there.
He knows that he's a jerk. He knows that he's been taken for a ride by all the people around him. That's what makes him angry. And when he's yelling and screaming, you can almost see him crying because he knows that this is not where he wants to be.
I'll you love me.
Yet he doesn't have the wherewithal to pull himself out.
Him and I took a walk outside, and as we're walking down the street, he turns to me. He says, "It's going to make the fight bigger, isn't it?" I said, "Yes, but this isn't what I wanted." And he said, "But it's going to be bigger." And I said, "Yes."
1 week later, as a direct result of the press conference melee. The fight was put in peril when Tyson was denied a boxing license from the state of Nevada.
Nevada turning down profit, Las Vegas turning down money on moral grounds.
When Nevada turns you down, a place where prostitution's legal, it's a little tough to find some place to go with this fight at that point.
Other traditional boxing states also declined, including New Jersey and New York. But after several months of searching, Memphis, Tennessee finally agreed to host the fight, which was rescheduled for June 8, 2002. In April, Tyson opened his training camp in Maui, Hawaii, and the few journalists who traveled there found Tyson's behavior as raw and unchecked as ever.
I may like fornicate more than other people. It's just who I am. I sacrificed so much of my life. Can I at least get laid? You know what I mean? I've been robbed of most of my money. Can I at least get a...
With Tyson, enough was never enough, no matter what he did. And this was almost accepted as just part of the show.
How confident, Mike, are you that you can win this fight?
Are you talking out of turn?
No, I think we're all talking together.
I normally don't do interviews with women unless I fornicate with them. So you shouldn't talk anymore. Unless you want to,
It was just watching a man reduced to his rage.
I wish one of your guys had children if I could kick them in the head or stomp on their testicles so you could feel my pain, because that's the pain I have, waking up every day.
It's part frustration, it's part fear, it's part performance, it's part hype.
Mike is a salesman. Mike knows what put asses in seats. Mike knows controversy does it.
Once in Memphis, great efforts were made to keep the fighters apart, including separate press conferences and weigh-ins, which dramatized how volatile Tyson was perceived to be. But when he arrived at the arena on fight night, there was a collective sigh of relief. Finally, Lewis Tyson was on.
I didn't see him until a couple hours before he was supposed to go in the ring. And he was so confident.
Mike was known for the intensity of his persona on fight night, the electric crackle that seemed to be going through his body and his brain as he approached the ring, and the Mike Tyson in Memphis seemed docile.
I get into the ring and I see this barrier of bodies, and I'm saying, this is interesting.
Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis separated by a cordon of security forces.
Tyson was coming up to the barrier and looking over. He was looking at me, he was looking at my body. I beat at my stomach saying, yeah, I'm ready.
Now they get together again as professionals, as Tyson's late trainer Quasimodo had predicted they would. And here we go.
I know he's gonna come at me, and I'm thinking, I'm not gonna give up my ground. I'm the champion.
Back uppercut for Lewis.
In my mind, that's the ego aspect of it.
Big left hand by Tyson after the jab by Lewis.
Tyson seems to be the aggressor of the two. Everybody gave him the first round, but he got hit with an uppercut. I mean, it really hurt him bad. He came back to the corner, and he told me, he said, Ronnie, I'm hurt.
He hurt you? What do you think he was here for? Taking a date? I mean, of course he hurt you. Now you're supposed to hurt him.
Tyson fighting at a measured pace, not the whirlwind that some expect.
Where I could tell by the middle of the second round, he has no chance. He has no hope. And he had to know that because I'm 30, 40 rows away, and I can see it.
Tyson's confidence ebbing, Lewis's seeming to grow.
Lewis used his physical advantages to dominate the smaller, slower Tyson, who by the fourth round was clearly weakened by the punishment he had been absorbing.
Lewis come up with a right hand, leads on Tyson, but Eddie Cotton says no knockdown.
After about 4 rounds, I noticed from the clinches where Lennox was physically pushing back, and you could see the little look in Mike that he'd given up.
It is rapidly becoming a technical mismatch.
Lennox Lewis is content right now to just stay outside, and the man on the store wants him to finish this.
Like this, and you still doing it. Don't turn it back in. Get this. Get out of here.
Listen to Emmanuel.
You're ready to get caught with some crazy. Step it up. The man is finished.
He was actually cursing Lennox out and beating Lennox's chest. And I had to actually say, Manny, don't beat him up in the